We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for JAX, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting JAX.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting JAX Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, it's a championship edition of the show. A champion crowned in League One and a champion set to be crowned tonight in the USL Championship. Plus, we'll hear from Sporting JAX men's coach Liam Fox and meet Sporting JAX rookie Baylee DeSmit. But let's start with the women's team preparing for a big one tonight. While Sporting JAX had the weekend off, the rest of the league was in action, and some of the outcomes from last week's games worked in Jacksonville's favor. Let's go around the Gainbridge Super League, and let's start with the first matchup. Previous Wednesday with DC Power hosting Fort Lauderdale United. Watch how quickly DC goes end to end. Gianna Gorley, beautiful through ball here to Deja Torbert, who gives the home side a 1-0 lead. Beautifully done there. Take another look. This is terrific transition soccer. That ball put right on the money for the goal. Then first half stoppage time. Fort Lauderdale down 2-0, but they'll get one back here off the corner. Ella Simpson nets it, but United wins 3-1 on Wednesday night. On the weekend, Brooklyn FC hosting Lexington SC. 12th minute off a long throw. Mackenzie Weinert volleys it in. Lexington remains unbeaten with a 2-0 win. Second game of the week for Fort Lauderdale and a third in 8 days. Hosting Tampa Bay, United down 1-0 in stoppage time. Kiara Locklear with a shot. It's knocked down, but Madison McComiskey puts it in, and Fort Lauderdale steals the draw against their Florida rivals. Spokane Zephyr hosting Dallas Trinity. Here's Samar Guidry coming down the wing, and she picks out Celie Strawn, and the 18-year-old delivers. Dallas goes on to the 2-0 away win in Spokane. Let's take a look at the Gainbridge Super League standings as of the moment. Lexington still on top and unbeaten. And Fort Lauderdale and Jacksonville 2 and 3 as they get set to meet later on today. We'll talk more about that matchup in a minute. DC Power starting to climb a little bit, though. Keep an eye on the team from the nation's capital all the way up to 5th. This is a good time to take a look at some of the individual numbers. Ashlyn Puerta for Sporting JAX, number one in the league with 9 goals scored. A comfortable lead over a couple of Lexington players. Also noticed Paige Kenton up to a tie for 5th in the league with 4 goals scored. But those aren't the only Sporting JAX players among the league leaders. Look at the assist leaders, and there's Meg Hughes tied for 4th with her 3 assists, just one off the lead, set by 3 players, including Carolina's Audrey Harding. And in terms of passes, a lot of Sporting JAX players among the top passers, including Julia Lester, right there in 6th, almost 500 passes completed. Sophia Bowman just behind her. This is a team that likes to pass the ball, and the numbers are showing that so far this year. We now bring in Becky Burleigh. Becky, as Sporting JAX gets set to open the rivalry with Fort Lauderdale, you have to be pleased with this, where this team is right now, 10 games in. What's been the most surprising thing with this team?
Honestly, I think the most surprising thing is the level of quality of play right out of the gate. And the reason I say that is because the quality of play with this team is reliant upon their ability to play together. And that is really hard to do right from the start.
Well, we talked about Ashlyn Puerta leading the league in goals. Is there more to her game that she can show as the season plays out?
Absolutely. I think one of the most important things is her consistency. And she's been super consistent so far. But if she matches that in the second half, we just have to say, like, this is a high-level player all the time. But I also think just from a connection standpoint, that's probably the one piece that's still a little bit missing is like, how do we leverage the strengths of that front group to really play into everybody's strengths.
All right, now to tonight's game. Fort Lauderdale has been very good to start the season, but they failed to win a pair of games last week. So what are you expecting in this one?
I think this is going to be a great game. I'm excited. I think I'm in a little bit of withdrawal from not playing last week. So I have a feeling that Sporting JAX is going to be really ready to play up for this game. And I'm pretty fired up because this is going to be two quality teams going against each other.
All right, thank you, Becky. The team was back in the training pitch this week in advance of tonight's military appreciation game. There are a few players who have a military connection, including Puerta, whose brother's at West Point, and Daviana Vaca, who has a sister in the Navy. So tonight's game will have added importance for them and for everyone else.
I think Florida rivalries, it's great. It's a great environment. Obviously, we'll have good fans because it is an in-state game, so both teams obviously are in Florida. So yeah, it's exciting. Every rivalry is exciting, and so yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm fired. I hope that we get a win against them. Of course, both Florida teams, my sister's on that team, so I'm hoping that it's the best of both sides and that we come out with the win.
We haven't faced them yet, so it's going to be good to play someone new again. And you know, we've been keeping a close eye on their previous results and games, and we know that they have a lot of talent and individual talent, and so we have to be aware of that. We'll do scout and report this Thursday and really focus in on what we need to do to get a result against them.
And now more on Fort Lauderdale. Last season, United made it all the way to the finals before losing to Tampa Bay. Like Jacksonville, they have a very young roster. Kiara Locklear leads the attack for Fort Lauderdale. She scored 4 goals this season, tied for 5th best in the league. Ella Simpson and Kelly Van Treek each have scored 3. Lately, the attack has struggled, though. Fort Lauderdale has not scored more than a goal in any game since September 28th, a span of 5 straight. This will be the first ever meeting between Sporting JAX and Fort Lauderdale United. Here are the details for the next home matchup. After tonight, the next home game against this same Fort Lauderdale United squad. That's December the 13th, a 7:30 kickoff at Hodges Stadium. That'll be youth sports night as well. More details about the festivities around that game as we get closer to the second matchup with Fort Lauderdale United. The folks at Feeding Northeast Florida say that if you're considering bringing food to donate to our food drive tonight, please use that money to make a monetary donation. It will go further than the non-perishables you'd be able to buy at the store. You can use the QR code on the screen to make a donation right now. Anyone donating will receive a pair of tickets to the December 20th match against the Tampa Bay Sun. We now welcome in Emerson Burris. This week you're profiling one of the bright young stars for the Sporting JAX team, Baylee DeSmit.
Yes, Baylee DeSmit grew up in Maryland, surrounded by sports and 4 older brothers who really drove her competitiveness from day one. Now she's settling into her first pro season, finding confidence on the field and a new outlet off of it. Earlier this week, we headed to the range to hear more about her story. In Towson, Maryland, sports were everywhere for Baylee DeSmit. With a dad who coached and 4 older brothers, the sideline was home.
I grew up basically on a sideline. Dad was a coach, brothers were athletes, so I was ball girl. I was just playing on my own with some friends.
She didn't join a club until age 11, but the foundation was already set.
I wasn't on a club team for soccer until about 11, so it was literally just playing with my brothers, doing our own type of workouts.
And Pipeline SC saw her potential immediately.
The coach that I tried out for, Santino Caranta, he was like saying to my brother on the sideline, like, this girl is magic. This girl has it.
After a standout career at Loyola, Maryland, the pro opportunity came fast.
And the mindset of, like, I want to go pro, kind of starting to look into how to do it. And then a few weeks later, my coach calls me with, these agents would like to get in contact with you. Like, do you want me to give them your number? I was like, sure, like, why not? Let's see how it goes.
And it happens to be going quite well. Baylee earned her first pro goal up in Brooklyn a few weeks ago.
Bounces through! Sporting JAX! At the death, find an equalizer!
And on her off days, she's on the course.
My grandfather and my dad and my brothers, we'd always go to the driving range or a golf course. Having so many golf courses and driving ranges around you, it kind of draws you here.
Golf is her reset, and it brings out her teacher side. The elementary education major helps out with Sporting JAX's academy, and even out here, she slipped right into coach mode, tweaking my form and celebrating the small wins.
That was really fun.
Baylee says finding balance, whether it's golf, coaching, or in the classroom someday, has made our first pro season even more meaningful.
That's the only swing I saw, but I think she's got plenty to work with there.
Yes, definitely. Lots to improve on my end.
Great to see her digging into the community, too, at both the coaching side as well as with one of the most popular games in town. That is, of course, on the golf course. Emerson, thanks so much. Sporting JAX has introduced the Family Pack. It's a great way for families to enjoy pro soccer. You get tickets to the match, a meal voucher, and you can have up to 8 in your group. Just go to sportingjax.com to get your Family Pack today. Still to come, Mauricio Ruiz joins us to preview the USL Championship final. That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. Every game of the Gainbridge Super League season can be seen streaming on Peacock. Home games can be seen on Channel 4 or right here on the stations of First Coast News. Time now for the USL Championship Game of the Week presented by Honda of the Avenues. And this week, what else? The conference finals setting up today's USL Championship final. Let's start in the East with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds hosting the pesky Rhode Island FC. Let's go to the land of three rivers, a packed Highmark Stadium on a cold semifinal night. 55th minute, breakthrough for the Riverhounds. Robbie Mertz collects a pass on the right side of the box, whips a right-footed strike into the center of the net. Pittsburgh grabs a 1-0 lead. 74th minute now, and a chance for Rhode Island. Nearly leveling it here. J.J. Williams rises in traffic, snaps a header toward goal, but Eric Dick reacts quickly. One of the best goalkeepers in the league. Strong hands to push it away and preserve the lead. 77th minute, another chance for Rhode Island. Hamidi Diop steps into space and fires a left-footed shot from distance. Dick lays out to fully parry it wide. Now, Pittsburgh in bend but don't break mode. They hold through stoppage time and punch their ticket into the USL Championship final. FC Tulsa and New Mexico United, 39th minute. Tulsa strikes first. Taylor Calhera times his run perfectly, settles the feet at the top of the box, and puts it past Christopher Shakes to put Tulsa up 1-0. 57th minute now. Calhera again, a scramble inside the 6, falls to the forward who stays composed and pokes it home for his second of the night. Tulsa doubles their lead and takes control. 76th minute, the exclamation point. Jamie Weber with his diagonal run receives a slipped pass into the box, tucks one in. It's 3-0 Tulsa, who cruise from whistle to whistle, and with the win, they will join Pittsburgh in the 2025 USL Championship final. So let's take a look at the bracket. There it is as it has played out. Sort of chalky in the West with Tulsa finding their way all the way to the final. Anything but chalk in the East with Pittsburgh, the Riverhounds, the 4 seed, finding their way to the final. Mauricio Ruiz, what do you expect in the final today?
Well, first of all, I don't think we expected this final at the beginning of the year. Certainly not from the Tulsa side, a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year, to really run away with it in the West Conference and in a really good fashion, and then go through the playoffs with 3 shutouts, which is even more impressive when you're talking about the best teams getting to the playoffs. So Tulsa just seems the far favorite. I had New Mexico beating them with a little upset. I didn't get my wishes there, but Tulsa just seems a really strong team. A bit of a contrast on the other side, Pittsburgh qualified in 4th place and really struggled through the playoff, but in a very Pittsburgh fashion. Only scored 1 goal in 3 games, 2 games going to PKs, and being the victors there. 3 home games for them. Now they got to travel to Tulsa, which just looks like the strongest team, especially in front of their home fans. So it should be a great game, a contrast of 2 different styles, but Tulsa just seems like a really strong side with a lot of confidence at the moment.
Mal, thank you very much. Sporting JAX will be playing in the USL Championship next season. I checked in with head coach Liam Fox, who's back in Scotland for now. He's laying the groundwork for the roster and, as importantly, for the team culture that he wants to lean on, that he wants to lead to the pitch next season.
Ultimately, it's making sure that we put a really good environment in place from now and making sure we get the right people. That's really important to me. I've spoke to loads of players over the last couple of weeks, and 3 things that I always say to them, and I say this to them really quickly in the conversation, is 3 things that our environment and our culture is going to be built on is, and they seem really simple, but they're really important to me. Is the first one is that you must always give your best, no matter what the situation, no matter how things are going. The second one is you have to be open to learning, and that's anybody that comes. So there'll be things that are done slightly differently. And the last one, you've always got to put the team first. You've got to be a team player and you've got to put the team first. And sometimes that can be difficult because only 11 players can play and some players will be disappointed that they're not. But again, that's the culture and the environment that these three things are going to be really, really important to me and everybody part of the group moving forward.
That's Liam Fox, the head coach for the USL Championship Sporting JAX side. And you can save your spot for the championship season right here in Jacksonville. A $25 deposit saves your seat for the return of men's pro soccer to town. Go to sportingjax.com or call 904-863-KICK to place your season ticket deposit today. Still to come, a big international honor from one of Sporting JAX's own. How goalkeeper Mia Heyer is preparing for her latest national team call-up. That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. The inaugural Sporting JAX kit is out. You can order your own. Use the QR code on your screen to order your official Sporting JAX shirts and so much more. There's also a great sale going on right now when you go to sportingjax.com/shop. Big sale through the course of the weekend. Time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight presented by the Bearded Pig Barbecue. Emerson Burris is here. Emerson, you spoke with a young star with local ties who's being called up to represent Honduras in international play.
That's right, Cole. Sporting JAX Academy goalkeeper Mia Heyer continues her rise on the international stage. The American-German Honduran keeper has been called up once again by Honduras, this time for the U16 UNICAF tournament, and she says this opportunity has pushed her to a whole new level. Mia Heyer's journey started in Honduras, where soccer was everywhere you go. She joined her school team in 8th grade, then began guest playing for CFC before everything changed, a call up to the Honduras national team. Since then, she's represented her country at the U17 World Cup qualifiers, U20 CONCACAF Championship, and helped win the 2024 CONCACAF League B title. Now Mia's back with the Honduras national team for the U16 UNICAF tournament, spending the past week in intense preparation.
Honestly, my first instinct, I was obviously very excited, but I feel like I was also really motivated because I went the previous year and I'm just really motivated to get a better result this year. We've been in preparation. I was called up for the major team for their, they call them microciclos. It's like the camps where you train at. I've been called up for that. So I've been here for like a week. So the trainings are really intense. We have the team of the most amazing people that are super helpful. We have a really good diet. We have the medical staff here, like always on top of us, making sure everything is good. The coach is helping us like develop our skills and get ready for the tournaments. So we're going to play in a group with Puerto Rico, Panama, and Costa Rica. So my personal goals for this tournament is I don't want to get scored on at all. I want to keep a clean sheet. Obviously, I want to be able to lead my team to getting a medal this time.
A sophomore at DME Academy down in Daytona and goalkeeper for Sporting JAX's Academy squad, Mia says her goal is to keep climbing, first to D1 college soccer and eventually to the pros.
Well, that's exactly what we talk about with the pathway to the pros for some of these top young players, and Mia is just another example of that. Emerson, thank you so much. For more on Sporting JAX in the world of soccer, join Stacey Balaam and me every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL for the Coaches Show presented by Sporting JAX. We'll have a player, and as we get closer to the season, we'll hear more from Liam Fox as well. You can listen on air on 1010 AM, online or on demand at 1010XL.com. And be sure to join Mauricio, Becky, and Emerson and me every Thursday night at 6 for the Sporting JAX Soccer Hour. We cover the entire soccer world, including Sporting JAX and the USL. Thursday nights at 6 on AM 930 Fox Sports Radio Jacksonville or the iHeart app. Still to come, Mauricio rejoins me as we take a closer look at the U.S. men's national team and their preparations for the World Cup. That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. You can watch the Sporting JAX report most weekends on the stations of First Coast News, but next week, following Thanksgiving, it's a special presentation of The First Touch, a documentary that followed the team throughout the first preseason in club history. That's Saturday at 12:30 on NBC 12. And we welcome back Mauricio Ruiz. Mal, we saw the U.S. men's national team in action this past week. What were your takeaways?
Wow. Is that a takeaway, Cole? Can I just say wow and kind of leave it at that? Because I think that's what everybody felt going through. Watching the Paraguay game, okay, it's 2-1, a good competition. US played well, had the majority of our starters, not all of them, mind you, still some stars that were not there. But then a nine player change going into the Uruguay game, which you would think it's the better opponent, even though Uruguay is struggling a little bit at the moment. But two World Cup opponents that we're going to face, certainly at the level, and Uruguay just has a lot of history. So to go 5-1 with what a lot of people say will kind of question some of the personnel that were in that game, being that this is kind of the last game in the calendar season here in 2025. So to put on a performance, to be a top level quality opponent like Uruguay with some of the players that were on the field, I think there were 5 MLS players on the field, some players kind of getting their first start in a really long time, but an overall performance and 2 opponents that we did not let them play. They couldn't get a rhythm. Our pressing was good. And then getting the ball in the back of the net at home in Tampa was really impressive. So a lot of confidence going into the break, the international break that we're going to have now. And then really next year, it's World Cup year. So I think we're finishing a cycle in a really strong format.
All right, Mal, thank you very much. Sporting JAX finishes off the fall season against all Florida opponents. After tonight's matchup against Fort Lauderdale, the next home match is Saturday, December 13th against the same United club. It's a 7:30 kickoff. Tickets are available by going to sportingjax.com or by calling 904-863-KICK. If you can't make the game, you can watch it on NBC 12 or streamed on Peacock. And for the very latest on what's happening with Sporting JAX, be sure to follow us on social media. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. That's where you can find all the very latest on your pro soccer team here in Jacksonville. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. And we'll talk to you in a couple weeks right back here with the next installment of the Sporting JAX Report.